Hey guys, it's BHA here, bringing you a new video. So the great folks over at Flair sent me over a couple of Flair smart vents and one of their pucks to test out and see how well they work. So we're going to take a look at those today and see what all we can do with them. Here we go. So you can get them directly from Flair. They start out for about 80 bucks, depending on what size you need, and they kind of go up from there. They only have a select range of sizes, so you're going to have to see if your vent size is currently available. So a lot of my house was in a much larger vent size than what they typically carry, so they didn't have those vents for that size. Luckily, I did have one room in my house that had smaller vents, which is 6 by 10 was the size that I had, and that's one of the ones that they had as an option. So we were able to use a couple of those and install them in my game room specifically. Nonetheless, if you didn't want to get them straight from their website, you could get them on Amazon. They have a marketplace there as well. They're again starting at around 80 bucks, and then they go up from there depending on what size you want. Now, these systems will require somewhat of a gateway. They have a Flair puck, which you can kind of use as a sensor in your house to keep track of the temperatures in the rooms that you're going to run these vents. But it also works as a gateway if it's plugged in, and you can allow your phone and other devices to communicate with the vents through this particular puck gateway. Alright, so let's do a quick run through everything we're going to cover in this video. So of course, for starters, we will unbox the device or devices and kind of see what they look like. Once we do that, then we're going to install and configure the vents for my game room. After that, we'll get it added into the Flair app on our phone. And lastly, we'll just kind of play around with it a little bit and see how well it works in action. So let's get started. All right, so what I have here is one of the smart vents that they sent me. Like I said, they sent me two. Obviously, the vents are identical, so I didn't go through opening both of them. They sent me one, and then, of course, a puck that we'll use as kind of the gateway to communicate with the vents and everything. So by default, it comes with a way to hook it up for power via 2C batteries. It looks like there is another option there where you can plug it in if you had a way to do that. I don't have any power going to any of my vents currently, so I feel like that would be more work than I really want to go through. So the 2C batteries should work just fine. Based on their website, the 2C batteries will last quite a while. In the package, you also get screws for mounting, as well as instructions on how to set everything up. As for the puck, it's pretty much the similar type of deal. There's instructions on how to set it up. There are mounting screws and mounting adhesive depending on how you want to install it. It also comes with a USB brick and a power cord. If you're going to use it as a gateway, it has to be plugged in. Otherwise, if you're going to just use it as a sensor, you can run it with batteries and then just stick it wherever you want. It will basically be a temperature sensor at that point. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step and get these things installed in my game room. Alright, so just to kind of give you an idea of what I'm doing, this is the ceiling in my game room. As you can see, there's two vents in this particular room. They're both 6 by 10, which is the size that they gave me, so this is perfect. As you can see, one of them doesn't even have a vent on it currently, so certainly one step closer to getting the new ones installed, I guess. Alright, so here we are. I've gotten the mounting bracket for the first vent installed. And it already has the C batteries in there, so as you can see, it's all already lighting up and waiting to communicate with the puck or whatever gateway you're using. Everything looks good there. I got the faceplate installed on it as well, so it looks nice and clean looking, basically just like the regular vent already looked. But now, of course, we have a smart vent. Let's go ahead and get the second one installed. All right, this one went a little bit easier. Obviously, I didn't have to take the existing vent off, so I was able to get this one installed fairly quickly. And of course, now we have both the vents completely installed with the covers and everything. We're ready to move on to the puck. I only have one puck, so it will have to be the gateway. And just so you know, the gateway has to be plugged in. So right here, as I'm installing it, this will work fine if you're going to use the puck as a sensor. But if you're using it as a gateway, this will not work. So I did not realize that when I first tried to set this up. So of course I had to remove it and actually plug it in to the USB port in order for it to be used as a gateway. As you can see here, down in there, it's kind of difficult to actually plug that cord in. You kind of have to angle it just right to get it in there. So just take your time when you're trying to plug it in so you don't damage anything in the process. So I was trying to figure out a good way to set this up. I don't like mounting things on the wall if they have cords hanging down from them. I just think it looks bad. So I thought the best place for it, at least right now, is to just kind of set it on the shelf in that game room. There's a plug behind the shelf that I was able to plug it into, so I was able to get power that way. And for the time being, we'll just kind of leave it sitting there. Nonetheless, we've gotten everything set up between the two vents and the puck, so we're ready to move on to that next step and get everything set up in the Flair app. So obviously, in setting up the Flair app, you'll need to create an account if you haven't already done so. Once you do that, then of course you can kind of follow along with the video here, and we'll go through the setup of getting the new devices added to your Flair app. So it should display a code on your puck that you'll need to enter on the phone in order to sync up correctly. It'll ask you about getting it added to your Wi-Fi, so you're going to go through and add in your Wi-Fi credentials so that it can get connected. So this one will work with different smart thermostats, depending on which one you have. I have the older Honeywell Wi-Fi thermostat, so I'll be using the Honeywell TCC login for this. But if you had an Ecobee or something else, you would probably have to put in your credentials for those particular thermostats in order for the accounts to kind of link up. Once you get logged in to your thermostat, and of course, if you have multiple thermostats, it'll ask you which one you want to integrate with the Flair app. Once you have done all of that, then of course it's going to start pulling in everything else. All right, so I'm going to call the room game room because of course that's where I have everything set up. As you can see, it's already finding the pucks, and here it is finding the vents as well. So it looks like everything is communicating as it should. Now for the configuration, I'm just going to kind of go through most of the default settings for right now until I've really played with it for a little while and see how well it works. the default settings should be fine, which means it's mainly going to be controlled by my existing Honeywell thermostat. It will open and close if it needs to regulate the temperature in those rooms. So here it is. Here is our setup. As you can see, if we click on it here, you can even see some stats that it's already pulled in, even from the short time that it's been running, as far as the different temperatures and stuff that have happened on that particular sensor so far. It's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and move on to the last step and kind of see it in action. So basically on the left, I have the Flair app pulled up on my iPad. We're going to kind of go through some of the things there. Like I said, by default, it's set up to automatic, so it'll be controlled by the thermostat. But if you go to the system and you choose manual, then you have the ability to open and close the vents right there from your phone, which is kind of cool. One thing I did notice for sure is if you close the vent, a little pop-up comes up at the bottom of the app saying, hey, this is going to take about a minute for it to actually close, and it really does. Now, I've kind of fast-forwarded through this to speed it along a little bit. It's not super fast to respond. Not a big issue necessarily, but just something to keep in mind if you're expecting really quick response times. So we hit close, and like I said, it took about a minute for it to actually update. I don't know that it was that long. It was probably between 30 seconds and a minute. But that's pretty much it, guys. This is pretty cool. I really wanted to get this thing integrated into Home Assistant. There isn't currently an integration for the Flair devices in Home Assistant, which I was really surprised about. Looked like there were people that were interested in doing it, but I didn't see anything that ever actually made it all the way there. There is one on GitHub that says it will handle just sensor data from the pucks, but you don't have any ability to actually control anything from Home Assistant. So that was kind of disappointing. There was another one that is set up mainly for OpenHAB, but it's really just an MQTT integration that looks like it will actually work and be able to control everything via MQTT. I don't currently have my Flair API credentials, which are required for this to work. I'm going to have to do a follow-up video on it once I get the integration working and show you how well or how well it doesn't integrate via MQTT into Home Assistant. Nonetheless, if you're looking for some additional control over your home air conditioning unit and you want to be able to control it via rooms, this is definitely one thing you want to check out. These smart vents would give you the ability. These smart vents could definitely do that. You'll want to have it for all the rooms on a particular zone in your thermostat in order to really take advantage of what temperature is going to be set to what room. Let's do a quick run through of everything we covered in this video. So again, we started by unboxing the device. Once we did that, we installed and configured the vents in the ceiling. Once that was done, we set them up in the Flair app. And lastly, I showed you what that looks like in action. So if you haven't had a chance, jump over to Flair's website. I'll have it in the description below. Check out everything that they have to offer. As always, I want to thank everybody that has donated to my Buy Me a Coffee link. Every little bit helps. If you haven't had a chance, jump over to my Burns Home Automation Teespring page and check out all the Burns Home Automation merchandise. Also, if you're still looking for VPN service and you haven't checked out IPVanish yet, click the link below on IPVanish as well and see what they have to offer. If you liked the video, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comments below. As always, if there are any videos out there that you would like to see that I don't already have out there, let me know in the comments as well, and I'll see if I can't get something put together for you guys. Otherwise, I'll see you guys around. Thanks.